Welcome to Habitly Courses, a production of Manage to Win. Each course is divided into multiple lessons for easy viewing. All are now completely free, so you can watch them on your own or work through them as a team. Please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share your favorite lessons with others. Try to find something that helps you be your best. Welcome to Lesson 11 about what are people's motivations or driving forces, which is why we do things, and the importance of being aware of how this why affects the how of our behaviors. Connecting your work to your driving forces makes your career more meaningful, plus you often receive additional recognition and sincere praise. Let's dive into how strategically focusing your most intense driving forces and your behaviors helps you overcome any remaining hesitation to discuss unexpected problems with clients and your team. Number one, play to your strengths. We believe you should always play to your strengths. The reason we explain communication soft skills, problem and present behaviors, selling behaviors, buying behaviors, and the other content in this course is so you can more deeply comprehend your strengths and further develop them. As we discussed, everybody sells. However, we're not asking you to sell. Instead, do what you do best, solve problems. Apply the strengths you've identified in this course to increase your confidence, develop your courage, and demonstrate a healthy sense of urgency by promptly and professionally communicating unexpected problems and costs to clients. Then, go do what you do best. Save the day again. Typically, there are three options to presenting unexpected issues to clients. First, you can communicate directly to the client. Second, you can communicate the issue to a peer, and then one of you discusses it with the client. Or third, you can explain the issue to a member of your team, and they contact the client about it. Talk with your manager if your current process to notify clients of unexpected issues is awkward for you. Your manager may allow you to follow a different process that you find more comfortable. This enables everyone to win. Next, number two, focus on habits. Remember this table in the selling behaviors lesson? We created this table and the other tables to help you better comprehend your strengths and weaknesses when you're trying to persuade someone. What drives these behaviors? It's our motivators or driving forces. Number three, engage your driving forces. Now, one portion of all Manage to Win talent assessments considers a person's motivations or what we call driving forces. This is why you do things. Driving forces control a person's DISC behavioral profile because the why drives how we do things. There are three powerful benefits when you develop habits to apply your most intense driving forces. First, you increase engagement with others and your overall job satisfaction. Second, you avoid conflict and stop it from escalating. And third, you maximize collaboration and communication with others who share your intense drivers. The driving forces summaries that we're about to discuss describe intense driving forces scores of 70 or more on a 100-point scale. Lower scores are less intense. The yellow stars indicate the 5 driving forces we find are most often results-oriented. If you cannot complete a Manage to Win talent assessment, that's okay. Choose what you believe are your first and second most intense driving forces. Also, give yourself a score based on how intense you feel each driving force might be on a 100-point scale. Then remind yourself of those 1 to 2 intense driving forces when you're trying to push yourself to take action or when you must have an uncomfortable conversation. Of course, you should memorize your 1 to 2 most intense driving forces. However, we recommend you try to memorize the key attributes of all 12. Don't let this advice bum you out. It's not that hard. Knowing what motivates others as well as yourself enables you to engage with them more effectively. We're going to start in the upper left. You can see the red arrow there. And first, what you'll see is the name of the driving force. So in the upper left there, we've got instinctive. And then in the upper right of that box, we have knowledge. And that is the common motivator for each row. Below is a description of the driving force. Although two people can share the same motivation, you can see their driving force and approach can be quite different. So the top row there, the motivation is knowledge, but one person's instinctive and the other person's intellectual. So let me summarize this for you. Someone who's instinctive is someone who wants to rely on past experience and knowledge. They're going to Google a topic to get an answer. They're going to learn just enough to get done what they need to get done and no more. The next one, intellectual, which is also knowledge as a motivator. That's someone who loves to learn. They'd be a lifelong student if they could afford to be. They love to learn a variety of ways. You can give them a book of 400 pages with tiny type. They get certifications, attend trade shows, get coached, mentored, working groups, whatever it might be. The next one is selfless. Now, this is someone who's driven by doing the right thing. They want to focus on the greater good versus achieving a result for themselves. Okay? And then we go to the flip side of that, resourceful. Both of these driving forces in the gold row here are utility as a motivator, but the resourceful is driven, personally, individually driven to achieve results or make money. They want to maximize their time. They want to achieve things. Moving down, we have the objective. This is also a results-oriented motivator as far as what we've found. There are others that will argue all 12 are results-oriented driving forces, but we find that 5 stand out typically. The objective is someone who is making decisions based on facts. You can throw them into chaos, they'll figure a way out. And they really don't need fancy offices or anything. They just need functional stuff to get things done. But they're driven to determine the facts and then work through the chaos. The flip side of that is a subjective thinker, a harmonious person. So they want to get along with everybody. They want harmony in the workplace. They like nice stuff. They can often be artistic. And as I mentioned, they're going to more listen to their gut and be a subjective thinker versus strictly operating based on the facts. On the next row here, you can see in the right-hand corners of these two boxes, the motivator is others. We're going to start on the left with the intentional. The intentional is someone who comes to work to work. They work with others to get things done, not necessarily to make friendships. So typically tend to be a reasonably good worker. Then we flip to the other side, it's the altruistic, and these people are driven to save the world. That's their main deal. They want to work really hard to help others, and that's usually translates into good results. Now we move down to power as the primary motivator. We're going to start on the left with the collaborative. These are people who want to work in the background. They don't want power. They don't want to be in the limelight. They want to be part of a team to get things done. When you flip to the other side, we've got commanding. Commanding is someone who wants power, wants authority. They're good with the big picture and the detail. They want to drive things. And sometimes it's political power. It can be negative if it's super intense. But most of the time, it's just, I want to advance my career, or I want authority that matches my responsibility. Now we go down to the bottom row, and you can see methodologies as the primary motivator. It's also called traditional. On the left-hand side, we've got receptive. These are people who are open to ideas. They believe there's more than one way to get something done well. They may not believe there's an absolute right or wrong. Typically, a high receptive is also a high intellectual, which is all the way at the top diagonally. That person who lives to learn. Now we're going to shift over to the structured. So this is the person that believes there's a right way to do things. There's a right and a wrong. They may not know it. They want to find it. They do believe in traditions, best practices, processes, that type of thing. And they're really driven, and they are a results-oriented driver because they want to find the best way to do things. There are times when the structured person, which can be kind of off the charts, may be more fundamentalist, where they're locked in and won't consider things. I haven't found that yet with many people, but that may be simply due to the type of people I work with. You can apply your driving forces to develop new habits to overcome any weakness. Although this is important, we still recommend you focus most of your time on expanding your strengths. Consider investing time each workday to assess how well you're improving your most intense behaviors and connecting with your most intense driving forces to develop positive, more powerful habits to be your best. Apply what you've learned in this lesson to more intentionally engage your most intense driving forces, giving you increased courage and professionalism to promptly explain unexpected problems to clients and your team. Unfortunately, the thought of a client being upset when they learn of a new issue or dismissing your advice can convince many service technicians to avoid informing clients of new problems. We hope this teaching on what drives you increases your courage to communicate problems you identify, even when it's uncomfortable. Congratulations, this concludes our 11th lesson on solving, not selling. We discussed focusing on your behavioral strengths, habit development, and your driving forces. Please pass the exam below to complete this lesson and then proceed to lesson number 12. It walks you through why and how you must speak up when you identify an unexpected problem or cost. Thank you.